Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It is now time for the Pony Keg Sports Podcast with your host, Josh Stevens and Tom Schultz. Woo!
All right, everybody, we are back, me and Tom, and we're going to do a quick breakdown of the games that we had this past week. And real quick, we'll start off with the terrible game, myself versus Justin. Not the worst game of the week, but a bad game just because of the fact that I lost yet again, and now I'm sitting at a terrible 1-10.
Josh, just be thinking of those draft picks that you have. I had to redo the page today, and just seeing your 4 6-round picks, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I do feel a little bit better about that, but it is a little upsetting just for the fact that I'm like, God, why? Why did I have to lose to Justin again? And then Thomas Rawls gets hurt again, and CJ Procise breaks his whatever he breaks.
You started both of them, didn't you?
I did. It was a good play.
Procise had that awesome first quarter where he had that 72-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
But didn't do anything else really after that, but still got you a good amount of points.
All right, let's go to Joey and Josh Schultz. Joey ends up winning 122.9 to 88.1. Joey's team running back-wise, Rob Kelly, Fat Rob, puts up 3 tutties, and David Johnson puts up 28 points himself. And he basically gets no help from A.J. Green and no help from Marvin Jones. And he started Steve Smith, of all people.
That's how good Joey's team is. This was the week to beat Joey. He was out Julio Jones, Demaryius Thomas, and A.J. Green got hurt in the first quarter, and he still puts up 120 points. He's definitely a contender, and he's a favorite to win the Starfish again.
Yeah, Josh Schultz, I feel bad for you because, again, you probably would have beat at least 3 or 4 people this week. So, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You would have beat 6 people this week.
Teams are averaging like 115 points against Josh Schultz this year. It's absolutely nuts.
Feel bad for him. I mean, it is a little upsetting. Let's go to this game because I just which one do I want to go to? Let's go to Kevin versus Danny. Both teams are now 4-7. Danny ends up with the win, 58.1 to 52.3. And I just want to start off by saying what a terrible matchup this was. Danny almost put up more points on his bench than he did starters. And actually looking at Kevin's bench put up 71.7 points. That's outrageous.
He had Kirk Cousins on the bench.
That's true.
That was a big part of it.
You're lucky, Danny, that he didn't play Kirk Cousins, even though he should have played Kirk Cousins. Well, I guess you look at Cam Newton in New Orleans, and he's got the favorable matchup there, but New Orleans has actually been pretty decent against quarterbacks the last couple weeks. Gave up 19 points, 11 points, 26, 17, and 14 this past week. I would have taken my chance with Kirk Cousins, I think, where Green Bay gave up 27, 15, 30, and now this week 31.
Yeah, the Packers have been getting demolished. They have barely enough bodies healthy to play DB for them. Their linebackers are atrocious. But it is what it is, Kevin. You didn't start a wide receiver. Jeremy Maclin was out for the last 4 days that we freaking knew about, and you didn't do shit. So fuck you.
Yeah, that was a little disappointing. I don't even give a shit if you play Tavon Austin, because you look at Tavon Austin, even that matchup would have been fine. I don't know what logic you had with not starting a wide receiver that has been out for 4 days at least, or 2 days at least. It's just, A, it hurts the league, and B, it hurts you because you were still in playoff contention. If you would have won that game, you still would have been 1 game back. And kind of just says a big fuck you to the league, so it kind of pissed me off. But
not cool, bro.
Next matchup, let's go to the game of the week that I had, which was Jerry versus Spencer. Spencer ends up pulling out the win, 94.8 to 86.1. You look at Jerry's team, they kind of underperformed. All 3 wide receivers scored under 10 points, and even Spencer's team didn't do that good. But Aaron Rodgers kind of saved him in the end.
Yeah, he blew up in that game, had a bunch of garbage yards, but huge win for Spencer. Pretty much locks the division up. He's got Josh Schultz next week. Should be a winnable game. And every team that's facing Josh scores, on average, 115 points. So, should be a big win for Spencer next week.
I wanted to save this one for last, but I am going to do it now, and that's Tom versus Tim. You look at these two records; they're both 8-3. They're all tied to lead the division. But Tom, you put a whooping on that ass of Tim's, and now I think Spencer's hand should be your hand. So, Tim, what a dismal day that you had. Jeremy Hill, you started. It should be good for him for the rest of the year, which is good. Derek Carr was on your bench. You should have played Derek Carr. I know that the juicier matchup was Ben Roethlisberger, but, Derek Carr has been a stud all year. I feel like he should be started regardless of what defense he plays.
That's why you got to listen to us when we tell you Big Ben is not very good on the road. He's a completely different quarterback. Carr had a better matchup. You should have started Carr. Wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
This matchup was over at 3 o'clock, so I think I was beating him by 50 almost.
Correct. Even on your bench time, you scored 60 points, so almost beats the starters. But overall, decent game for you, not bad.
Them running backs.
3 quarterbacks, that's a little odd.
Glad I have that now because luck is dead.
True. And then this is the last game I want to talk about. This was Alex versus Mike. Alex puts up a big 102.5, and Mike puts up 50.9. Now, Mike had really dismal days for his wide receivers. Crabtree at 0.5. A little upsetting because I talked up Crabtree this week. I also talked about Devontae Parker, and he was sitting on the bench, and then Tajay Sharp. I would have probably started him over Chris Hogan.
Huh.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Hogan was announced that he was out Thursday.
Yeah. I don't understand how you could do a podcast, Mike, and start a player that is hurt. That's a little frustrating. Again, my statements towards Kevin go towards you as well. It just kind of put a big FU to the league, and I wasn't happy with it.
You were both within one game of Alex. Even though this move wouldn't have made a difference, Mike, it just shows that you don't give a fuck about the league right now. And you should. You were one game out of a playoff spot. Don't think you've ever made the playoffs. And you just piss it away like that. You deserve to lose this game and not be in the playoffs this year.
The one other good thing for Alex on that side, he's got Dak Prescott and Russell Wilson. He can kind of play whoever the hell he wants to play week to week. It's not bad for him. Dak Prescott's putting up big numbers. Russell Wilson's putting up big numbers. And Todd Gurley ended up in the end zone, so that's good.
He had his first 20-yard rush of the season.
I like it. But the only thing is, you're looking at LaShawn McCoy. He's questionable. He's got to get surgery on his thumb. Don't know what he's going to do there. He's probably just going to plug in Latavius Murray, which is good. And then at tight end, he's going to have to do something at tight end. He's got Zach Miller that's going to be out for the rest of the year. So anybody that's got extra tight ends, look Alex's way.
Josh, how many you got? You still got 3?
No, I got 2 now.
Oh, you got rid of Doyle.
I got rid of my boy Jack. So yeah, just recap. Also, big trade that we had. The not Alex. Jerry trades for Derrick Henry, and he gives up. What does he give up?
It was a 9 next year, a 6th the year after, and a 6th the year after that.
So
and he gave up Lacey.
And you gave up Lacey on top of that. So let me put that into, again, I was texting Jerry all day yesterday, telling him not to do that trade because it would have been god-awful. Just to kind of put it in, like, just a realm that you can listen to, Jerry. That's like when I gave up 2 6s for Antonio Brown. Yes, Jerry, that was Antonio Brown, the leading wide receiver, like, number 1 in fantasy football. I gave up 2 6s for a player that is a starter that puts up huge numbers. Yes, you may not think that we care about your trades that you've done. You can say, oh, well, look at all the trades I've done. Yes, you did good. You did great. And you could say, oh, DeMarco's been injury prone. Fantastic. The truth is, he's on the books for next year. He's not off the books for 2 years. So maybe in 2 years' time, when those 6s start kicking in, maybe that looks like a good trade. But looking at your team, you have Doug Martin. He's still got Doug Martin, right?
No, Josh
Oh,
Schultz
he's got Josh Schultz. regardless, you look at your team, I don't even know if he's going to be a keeper for your team by the end of it.
That's going to be the biggest thing for him because I really don't think Henry's going to be the starter there next year.
No, he absolutely won't.
And even if he's playing more next year, it's going to be in running back by committee. DeMarco Murray has shown that he has got a lot left in his gas tank. So he's going to have to waste one of those valuable keeper spots on Henry.
Yeah, you look at his team right now, he's got Kelvin Benjamin, he's got Melvin Gordon, possibly LeGarrette Blount, because he's putting up rock star numbers. He's number 5th right now in position ranking. He's got Will Fuller, who he really likes. And then you got Derrick Henry. I guess you might have to keep Derrick Henry just out of the fact that ex facto you have nobody else. I mean, that's it. Otherwise, you would have had Melvin Gordon, LeGarrette Blount, and Eddie Lacy. That's 3 solid starters to roll around. Yep. And now you're going to go with two starters and then possibly Henry, who's not going to be even your starter. He's not going to be a quality backup. You're not starting him at all the rest of the year. All right, enough of my tangent. Sorry. But I just wanted to put it out there, just kind of give you an idea.
On paper, it's the worst trade our league has ever seen.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Not good. So let's start with next week. Kevin versus Mike Agent.
Can they both lose?
I wish they could both tie.
And have to drop all their players so they don't have keepers?
We update. Mike has a full lineup, not of any players out. Look at Kevin's. Kevin has a full lineup of 3 questionable guys. So hopefully one of those guys is questionable that plays Thursday. Hopefully he can make a switch in time just in case. Sorry guys that we have to bash on you, but you guys did not start full lineups. So looking at Mike's team, he's got Bortles against Buffalo, Jay Ajayi against San Francisco,
that's good.
Ty Montgomery at running back against Philly, kind of rough, especially Ty Montgomery. He hasn't done anything at all. Otherwise, his option would be T.J. Yeldon.
He's hurt, I think.
Yeah, so whatever. I don't know. Devontae Parker, he's got Tajay Sharp, Jamison Crowder, C.J. Fedorowicz. They all have some decent matchups besides Crowder. He's got Dallas, so not terrible, not great. But then looking at Kevin, he's got Cam against Oakland, Hyde against Miami, Matthews, who's questionable against Green Bay, Macklin, who's questionable against Denver, even though I probably wouldn't start him anyways, Stephon Diggs, who's questionable against Detroit. And then he's starting Lockett.
It's going to be an ugly matchup. I'm going to give the advantage to Mike, even though I hate Bortles. I hate the Jags versus Buffalo this week.
Yeah, I'm giving the matchup to Mike as well, and he better be hoping and praying that Alex loses out the next 2 games, even though I don't know if it matters anymore.
It wouldn't matter. Alex beat him twice. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Next matchup we are gonna let's go to mine and Danny's. 1-10 versus 4-7. My God, how terrible that is. I am actually projected the favorite somehow. By 7 points. And I have Eli against Cleveland. Rawls right now questionable against Tampa Bay. Devontae Booker against Kansas City. Michael Thomas against L.A. Dez Bryant against Washington. Shepard against Cleveland. And Braid against Seattle. That may be subject to change. Danny's got Breeze. Probably going to start Hightower, I would assume.
Yeah, I think Ingram's going to be out.
Yeah, so he's going to have Breeze, Hightower, probably Crowell, and
his wide receivers are pretty ugly.
Yeah, Cobb, Hearns, and J.J. Nelson. Ugh. I wish I could start Ebron as a wide receiver. That's pretty much what he is.
Yeah.
But whatever.
He's getting end arounds for touchdowns.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna win this one just for the fact that I need a win. And I hope I don't become beer bitch, and it's going to be Josh Schultz. So
on paper, you should be winning this game.
Yeah, hopefully.
Josh Schultz will cry if you do win this one.
I know.
He's nervous about beer bitch.
Oh, I can imagine. Next, actually, we're going to talk about him. Josh Schultz versus Spencer. And looking at this on paper, Aaron Rodgers against Philly, Stewart against Oakland, Howard against Tennessee, and then his wide receivers kind of all have tough matchups. L.A., Pittsburgh, and the Jets. That's Cooks, Moncrief, and Edelman. So I think if Gronk is out again, I think Edelman is going to be due again. I think he had, 17 targets last week?
Yeah, he had the most targets in the NFL.
Something absolutely nuts. And then you look at Josh's team, man. He's just got injuries and suspensions galore. Alshon suspended. Sproles questionable. Amir Abdullah IR, but he should be back soon. Martavis Bryant, good pickup. We said that 2 weeks ago. Would you play Phillip Rivers against Houston, or would you play Tannehill versus San Francisco?
I'm going to go with Tannehill on this one. I think he's a better option. I like Rivers. Houston, they can get after the quarterback. They are coming off the bye, but I like Tannehill's matchup against the Niners this week quite a bit.
Yeah, I kind of do. I'm looking at it right now, and looking at Houston, they are the ranked 5th opposing defense, but you look at the last 2 weeks, they've given up 20 points and 24 points this past week. And then you look at San Francisco, and they gave up 28, 18, and 31. And then the 2 weeks before that, 22 and 23.
You got to look what Houston did to Oakland the first 3 quarters of that game yesterday.
Correct.
I think Carr had under 100 yards passing and 0 touchdowns. So he was right around 4 or 5 fantasy points. And then fourth quarter, they kind of blew up. And they said a lot of that had to do with the elevation and the smog. And Texans just looked dead.
Jonathan Joseph is a freaking monster on that defense. So
Clowney can get after the quarterback. So
I'm going to have to go with Spencer's team just because I need Josh to lose.
I hate Rodgers against Philly this week.
Same here.
Because look what Philly's been doing to quarterbacks when they're playing them at Philly. And the Packers haven't really looked good at all this year, or especially the last 4 or 5 weeks. Moncrief against Pittsburgh. You got freaking Scott Tolzien as the quarterback. I'm questioning benching T.Y. this week.
It's possible.
I think he's a better option than Moncrief, so that kind of makes me nervous.
You look at Moncrief, though, he's like a touchdown vulture.
He is.
He loves them teddies.
But I think this could be more a Dwayne Allen, Jack Doyle, and check down to freaking your running backs all game.
I could see Phillip Dorsett with a good game.
I think it's going to be ugly. Gandy's going to get tanked, but
that's possible. Next, Justin versus Alex. Who's the favorite in that one? I didn't even see it.
It is
Justin by 1?
Yeah, 1.1 points for Justin.
Man, Marcus Mariota and DeMarco Murray both against Chicago. Chicago has basically packed it in and said, you know what, I'm done. Then you have Frank Gore against Pittsburgh. Guys, I don't know what you've been listening to all year, but we've been saying Frank Gore, week to week to week, is a viable fantasy option as a running back number 2. So Justin getting Frank Gore, I think, locks up his team for the most part.
It helped him quite a bit.
Solidifies him at running back.
I was just giving him away and no one wanted him.
Yeah. So, I mean, granted, I don't think he has any keeper value because I think he's done after this year.
Yep.
But I think he pretty much locks up that team for him. I don't know how he's going to do this year or this week with Tolzien at quarterback, but we'll see how he does. Mike Evans against Seattle, kind of a tough matchup, man. 6 against the pass, so we'll see how he does. Landry's been such a disappointment.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he did have a touchdown last week, but you look at it, that is the first... he's only broken 10 fantasy points twice all year. Twice. That's crazy. Emmanuel Sanders against Kansas City is coming off of a bye. He's been a disappointment, too, because he's only gotten more than 10 points twice all year. So, I don't know. I think Justin might have a little rough go at it. I would... Man, it's tough because I would want to say start Tyrell Williams so bad, but because he's been on such a roll. But it's tough to say start Tyrell Williams over any of those guys. I don't know.
I like Landry this week against the Niners. I don't know. I think this is going to be Tannehill's week. I think they're going to rely on the passing game because it's going to be there, going to be open. San Fran doesn't have the DBs for him. So I'm going to tell him to keep these 3 starting guys in right now.
Look at Alex's team. He's starting Dak Prescott right now against Washington. Is that the correct move over Russell Wilson playing Tampa Bay at Tampa?
I would say so. I think Dak's kind of matchup proof. He's been putting up over 20 points every week. Seattle is a different team on the road. We've seen them struggle on the road, and that is quite a big difference in time going from Seattle to Tampa Bay.
True. Sean McCoy may be out. What does he do there? Just plug in Latavius Murray?
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
If Shady is healthy and he's 100%, Like, I think Alex has a big advantage in this. I like Todd Gurley this week against New Orleans. Kind of showed some life last week. Had over that 20-yard run. Got it in the end zone. He looked somewhat decent, even though Goff looked terrible.
Oh, he looked absolutely awful. I want to pick Justin so bad, just for the fact that I want someone out of my division to keep winning, but I have to go with Alex. Looking at all of his players, has more of the favorable matchups. I mean, I like the Marcus Mariota and DeMarco Murray for Justin, but I like the LaShawn McCoy if healthy, and I like the Todd Gurley and Dak Prescott combination.
This is a huge week. Justin could still get a 1 or 2 seed.
Yeah.
He needs to win out, though.
That is true. So, next matchup, we're going to go with Jerry versus you, Tom. And then we're going to save Joey versus Tim for the match of the week.
That's the match of the week.
So, we're going to go Jerry versus Tom, looking at pretty much, what is the line here? 16.9? Woo! That's a big line because you just traded for Derrick Henry.
I wish Jerry was forced to start him this week.
Yeah, why don't you start him, Jerry?
He's got no faith in his boy.
Man, you trade for him, you don't start him? Who? Oh, and he's facing Chicago? You should just start him now. Unbelievable. All right, so Tom Brady against the Jets. I like that matchup. It's not bad.
Yep.
Melvin,
Pretty much like Tom Brady versus anyone.
Yeah. Melvin Gordon against Houston. Now that J.J. Watt is out, people are putting up big points against Houston. So, and Melvin Gordon is just lights out stud right now.
Touchdown machine.
LeGarrette Blount could be something big.
Another touchdown machine.
Yep. And then, I mean, you look at his wide receivers. He's got top half good, the bottom half not so good. Kelvin Benjamin, kind of a dud so far this year. I mean, he's ranked 23, so that's a wide receiver too. And, he's putting up mediocre numbers. He's only broken 10 points twice. And then Terrell Pryor, he's still doing his thing. He's ranked number 10, everybody. Wide receiver 10.
Absolutely crazy.
So we'll see how he does against the Giants. I mean, the Giants have been pretty decent against the last 3 weeks. 19, 14, and 13 points against wide receivers. Cameron Meredith, he may get some extended run just for the fact that Alshon Jeffrey is out, plus Zach Miller is now out for the rest of the year as well. Maybe this is a time we see my boy, Daniel Braverman, finally make his appearance, hopefully. And then Antonio Gates, he's playing Houston as well, and Houston kind of shuts down tight ends, so I'm a little worried with that.
And I hope he plays the Rams versus New Orleans.
Yeah, that'd be not a great move, but that's a jury move. Looking at your side, Tom Palmer, you're starting right now against Atlanta, or you could go with Jameis Winston against Seattle.
Nope.
Correct move is Palmer. Then you got Bell, Elliott, Cooper, Hilton. If you sat Hilton, I would probably start Wallace out of all those.
Yep.
But, other than that, I think you, on paper, are the one that's going to win this one.
I should beat him. Jerry's only scored more points than me 1 week out of the first 11, but anything could happen in fantasy football. I kind of need this win. If I lose this and then lose to Joey, Jerry could take my playoff spot.
Whew.
So this is a huge, huge game for me this week.
Must win.
I'm predicting myself to beat that ugly Ninja Turtles ass, Jerry, talking shit for no reason and leaving group me because he's a big retard.
Oh, fighting words.
I'm going to curb stomp you, retard.
Next matchup, we're going to go Joey versus Tim. The game of the week. Yeah. Who's favored in this one? They got Joey.
Tim.
No, Tim. Tim favored by 7.8. This is a must-win game for both of these.
Every time Tim faces Joey, Tim has juicy matchups. That's why he's won 3 in a row against him.
Yeah.
I think it might continue. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Big Ben on the road. But he's playing in a dome against Indy. They just lost their captain, the freaking captain of their ship, Andrew Luck. He's going to be out this week. So I could see Pittsburgh jumping all over him. Love Antonio Brown versus Indy. Vontae Davis hasn't been able to cover him. OBJ against Cleveland. If the weather's not shitty, OBJ should be able to tear that secondary apart.
It's true again.
I like Jordan Reed against Dallas. I like KC's defense against Denver. I like Forte in that matchup. I hate Jeremy Hill versus Baltimore, though.
Yeah, I hate Jeremy Hill against Baltimore too, except for the fact that there is no more Gio Bernard. So maybe he's going to get all the carries now. Maybe they're going to just force feed him the ball.
I just see what Baltimore, they kind of held Zeke in check.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, they may think that Cincinnati, and there's no A.J. Green, so who knows what's going to happen in that matchup. But there's nobody I would sit.
What other running back does Tim have?
He's got Terrence West.
I'd start Terrence West over him.
I don't know, man. It's such a tough call. Looking at Joey's side of things, Matt Ryan against Arizona. Arizona's second against the pass. Last week they gave up 10 points. And then the week before they gave up 26. And then before their bye they gave up 14 and 11. And then 6. Ugh. So, I mean, Matt Ryan has the ability to definitely do what other people are unable to do. So we'll see what happens with that. Your other option is Colin Kaepernick. And he's facing a Miami defense. And they've been a little bit better. I don't know if I would start Colin Kaepernick or if I would start Matt Ryan. It would probably take me up until Sunday to figure out which one I would start.
Yeah, I think you got to go with your studs. Matt Ryan has been a stud all year, averaging 25 points a game. That's awesome.
Yeah. Next up, David Johnson at Atlanta. Last week at Atlanta, they gave up 42.5 points to running backs for that Philly rushing game.
Whoo!
Yeah. So if David Johnson can get 20 to 25 points out of there, Joey's sitting pretty good. Then he's also got Fat Rob going against the Cowboys. And the Cowboys have been giving up not huge numbers, but bigger numbers as of late. 18.5, 25, 11, and 16 running backs. I think Rob Kelly is in the 8 to 12 range. So
yeah. Kelly's good. He's a bell cow there right now. Matt Jones isn't going to be coming back taking carries from him.
Tyrann Mathieu may be coming back this week. If he does come back this week, it doesn't matter. Peterson will probably be matched up on Julio, but Tyrann Mathieu is going to be running around. And then you have Demaryius Thomas against Kansas City. Kansas City's been somewhat soft against the pass. And then if he is starting Steve Smith, which is what I probably would do, he's facing the Bengals. Because right now, Marvin Jones is giving you no reason whatsoever to start him on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, you can't start him, especially against the Vikings, who looked a lot better last week. They looked like that week 1 through 5 Vikings defense. And they have the DBs to shut down that passing game in Detroit.
We have 2.5 minutes, Tom. Make your predictions. Who wins this matchup? Who makes the playoffs? Playoffs?
For everyone or just in this game?
This matchup right here.
Tim's going to win this game.
Tim wins this one.
It's going to be close.
Now give me your playoff predictions.
They'll both be in it.
You'll be out?
I'll be in it too.
Oh, you'll be in
all
it
three.
Too. All three? Okay. So all three of you. And then Spencer, Justin, and Alex.
Yep.
That's what you got?
That's what I think's going to happen.
All right.
Jerry can make it. He needs me to lose out and Tim not to lose out. That's pretty much what Jerry needs to happen. If me and Tim both lose out and Jerry wins out, Jerry still misses.
Gotcha.
So,
real quick, we were talking on GroupMe about fines for not starting your lineup and blah, blah, blah. You can't really fine somebody, in my opinion, because they're just going to keep doing it. My biggest thing is if you guys do not want to be in the league, Kevin, Mike, and whoever else in the future that does not start a full lineup or doesn't care to start a full lineup, just let us know. If you don't want to be in the league, we'll replace you or get you replaced or give us somebody else to replace you. It's not a big deal. If you guys got shit going on and you can't commit to it and start a lineup, then not a big deal. We'll go on without it. It's not a big deal.
Just let us know, guys. We don't want to get mad and say mean things to you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to sit there and send somebody a Ninja Turtle tattoo over and over again, but sometimes I have to if you're being a freaking idiot. Jerry. All right, guys, that is all we have. Those are our predictions, and the prediction that I have for making the playoffs is the same as Tom. So, Jerry, I'm sorry. You made a terrible trade, and you still won't make the playoffs. Still in the bottom 6 with me and my 1-10 record. Thank you very much.